Have you ever felt drained by the opinions of others? Constantly comparing yourself to those around you, seeking validation from a world that never seems to stop talking. What if I told you that the key to true strength, inner peace, and unstoppable growth lies in a simple yet profound shift? Focusing on yourself and embracing silence. In a world that's louder than ever, the real power comes from within. And today, I'm going to show you how to tap into that power by learning from Buddhism, and how to stop wasting your energy on others while building the life you truly deserve. Imagine a life where you are no longer ruled by distractions, where your energy is yours to control, and where your peace remains unshakable. The path to that life starts with a single choice: to focus on yourself and stay silent in a world full of noise. Are you ready to discover the strength in silence? Let's dive in. The first lesson we must understand is this simple but profound truth. Energy flows where attention goes. Everything we experience in life, everything we manifest, is influenced by where we choose to focus our attention. In Buddhism, there is a deep understanding that our energy is a limited resource, and what we choose to direct it toward has a significant impact on our lives. Think about it. If you constantly focus your attention on what others are doing, on comparing yourself to them, or on worrying about their opinions, you're essentially giving away your energy. You're allowing the actions, thoughts, and distractions of others to siphon away your strength and peace. Every moment spent dwelling on external matters, whether it's someone else's success, failure, or behavior, is a moment you're not investing in yourself. In the same way that a plant requires sunlight, water, and care to grow, your life requires your attention and energy to flourish. Your energy is your most precious resource. If you choose to invest it in the things that truly matter to you, your growth, your well-being, and your journey, that's where your true strength lies. Imagine your energy as a powerful river. If that river flows toward chaos, distractions, or toxic relationships, it can quickly run dry. But when you guide that river towards your own inner peace, your goals, and your personal growth, it begins to flow freely, bringing life and abundance to every area of your life. This is why it's so important to cultivate a mindful awareness of where your attention is going. Are you constantly looking outward? Are you letting other people's opinions and judgments take up your mental space? If so, it's time to redirect that focus. Start channeling your energy inward, toward understanding yourself better, toward healing, and toward working on your dreams. When you do this, you will begin to see your life transform. By focusing on your inner peace, self-improvement, and growth, you unlock a powerful force within yourself. The more energy you pour into developing your mind, body, and spirit, the more your life will expand and the more fulfilled and powerful you will become. Your energy is yours to command. It's time to stop giving it away and start using it to shape the life you desire. 2. The loudest person is usually the weakest. In a world where everyone seems to have something to say, the loudest voices often demand the most attention. But in Buddhism, we are reminded that true strength does not need to be loud. In fact, the loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Why is this? Because those who feel the need to constantly speak, boast, or make noise often do so because they are compensating for something. The loudest voices are frequently the ones that feel insecure or threatened, seeking validation from others to mask their inner doubts and fears. When someone is constantly talking, they are often trying to prove something, either to themselves or to the world. On the other hand, those who are secure and confident in their own strength don't feel the need to announce it to the world. True power in Buddhism is subtle and quiet. It doesn't need to be announced or flaunted, it simply is. Think of the mountain. It stands tall and firm without shouting about its greatness. The mountain doesn't need to scream to prove its power. It simply exists, steady and unshaken. In your own life, this lesson teaches us the importance of listening more than we speak, observing before we act, and showing our strength through our actions rather than our words. Strength is in silence. It is in being composed, calm and still, even in the face of chaos. When you stop feeling the need to be loud, to argue, or to seek external affirmation, you begin to realize that the true source of your power comes from within. You learn to trust in your actions rather than relying on words. In moments of uncertainty or challenge, your silence becomes a source of immense power. The takeaway here is that silence in the face of adversity speaks volumes about your inner strength. The strongest individuals rarely need to raise their voice because they know their worth. Instead of being loud, let your actions reflect your strength and your peace. In that stillness, you will find a deeper connection to your true self and a greater sense of power. 3. Comparison is the thief of joy. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with images of others' successes, achievements, and lifestyles. Social media platforms, advertisements, and even casual conversations often trigger feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. This constant comparison to others has become a major source of stress and unhappiness. But in Buddhism, we learn that comparison is the thief of joy. When we compare ourselves to others, we are often comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. We forget that everyone has their own struggles, their own challenges, and their own battles. We see only the parts of others' lives that are polished and presented, and we fail to see the difficulties they might be going through. Comparison distorts our perception of our own journey. It robs us of the ability to be truly happy with who we are and where we are in life. We begin to measure our worth by the standards set by others, forgetting that our value is unique and not defined by someone else's path. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to embrace self-contentment. This means acknowledging and accepting your own journey without the need to measure it against others. The teachings remind us that we are on a unique path and no one else can walk it for us. By constantly comparing, we prevent ourselves from appreciating our own progress, no matter how small it may seem. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you start to feel grateful for the things you have accomplished. You become more present in your own life, more focused on your own goals, and more appreciative of your unique gifts. The more you learn to appreciate your own path, the more joy you will experience. Comparison only serves to diminish your own happiness and satisfaction. Embrace your own journey and trust that it is perfect for you. When you stop comparing, you open yourself to the possibility of experiencing true joy. The joy that comes from fully accepting who you are and where you are. Not everyone deserves access to you. One of the most important lessons in Buddhism is the concept of setting boundaries. In a world that constantly demands our time, attention, and energy, it is essential to recognize that not everyone deserves access to you. In our desire to be kind, generous, and compassionate, we often forget that our energy is limited. We may feel obligated to say yes to every request, to answer every message, or to be available to everyone around us. But the truth is, not everyone's energy is in alignment with yours. Not everyone's intentions are pure, and not everyone's presence will help you grow or move forward on your path. Buddhism teaches us that true compassion doesn't mean giving ourselves away completely to others. It's about offering love and support to those who truly deserve it, while also protecting our own peace and well-being. You have the right to decide who enters your life and who you allow to share your energy. This isn't selfish. It's necessary for your personal growth, mental clarity, and inner peace. People who are toxic, draining, or manipulative can significantly affect your energy and mental state. When you allow such individuals into your life, you are unknowingly giving them access to your inner peace. Over time, their negative energy can begin to overshadow your own, leaving you feeling exhausted, anxious, and disconnected from your true self. On the other hand, the people who truly deserve your time and energy are those who uplift you, encourage you, and help you grow. These individuals are aligned with your values and your path, and they will help you become a better version of yourself. Learning to set boundaries doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It simply means you are learning to care for yourself first. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of respect, peace, and love, and you should only allow those who honor and support your growth to have access to your life. This is not always easy, especially when we feel guilty for saying no or cutting people off. But Buddhism reminds us that by creating healthy boundaries, we are not only protecting ourselves, but we are also showing respect for our time, energy, and personal space. Boundaries are a form of self-care, and when we prioritize them, we can show up as our best selves for those who truly matter. You do not have to say yes to every person or every request. Protect your energy by setting boundaries and allowing only those who support your growth and peace to have access to your life. By doing so, you will preserve your mental and emotional well-being, enabling you to show up as your best self in the world. 5. Your greatest moves are made in silence. In a world where everyone feels the need to share every detail of their life, there is an undeniable power in silence. Your greatest moves are made in silence. This lesson is rooted deeply in Buddhist teachings, where silence is seen not as the absence of sound, but as a powerful, intentional space that allows you to think, plan, and act with clarity. When we speak constantly, when we are always engaged in chatter, whether with others or in our own minds, we are not allowing ourselves the space to focus. In the quiet, there is room for the mind to gather its thoughts, analyze situations, and make decisions that are free from distractions. Silence is the gateway to deep thought and true insight. Think about the greatest achievers in history. Many of them worked in silence. They didn't need to broadcast every step they took or announce their intentions to the world. They understood that the power of creation and transformation comes when you take action in private without the need for external validation or attention. In Buddhism, there's a concept known as right action, which emphasizes the importance of acting in alignment with one's true self, without ego and without the need for approval or recognition. When you make your moves in silence, you give yourself the freedom to fail without the fear of judgment. You can try, adjust, and grow without worrying about what others think. You are allowed to explore your path fully, without external noise influencing your decisions or clouding your judgment. You are free to create without the pressure of others' opinions. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we often feel that we need to tell the world about our plans, our dreams, and our goals. Social media has created a culture where we are constantly sharing, updating, and seeking feedback. But this constant noise can dilute the power of our intentions. True strength comes from acting without needing to explain or justify yourself. When you make moves in silence, you are allowing the world to see the results of your work, not just hear about your plans. Your actions will speak for themselves. This is not about hiding from the world, but about learning the power of restraint, focus, and introspection. Buddhism teaches us that the mind and heart should be clear, undistracted, and free of unnecessary noise. When you can master the art of silent action, you tap into a well of inner power that is unshaken by the world around you. Your life will no longer be swayed by others' expectations or judgments, because you will have created a path that is uniquely your own. In moments when you feel the urge to speak, explain, or seek approval, remind yourself that true strength lies in your ability to stay silent and focused. Let your results speak for themselves. When your actions come from a place of inner peace and clarity, they carry more weight than any words ever could. Your greatest achievements come not from the noise of the world, but from the silence where you allow yourself to think, create, and act without distraction. Embrace silence as a tool for deep reflection, strong focus, and intentional action. The more you learn to move in silence, the greater your impact will be, because your results will always speak louder than your words. 6. You owe no one an explanation. In a world that often demands explanations, approvals, and justifications for every action we take, one of the most liberating truths you can embrace is, you owe no one an explanation. This lesson is deeply rooted in Buddhist wisdom, where the importance of living authentically and free from external validation is emphasized as a path to peace and self-mastery. We are conditioned to explain ourselves from a young age, from explaining our decisions to our parents, to justifying our actions in the workplace, to defending our choices to our friends and peers. It often feels like we are constantly under pressure to provide reasoning for everything we do. But here's the truth. You are the master of your own life. No one else has the right to demand an explanation for your actions, your values, or the way you choose to live. In Buddhism, there is an emphasis on living with right intention, doing things for the right reasons, aligned with your inner truth. When you make decisions from a place of clarity, self-awareness, and mindfulness, you don't need to justify those decisions to anyone. True authenticity comes from living in a way that feels true to yourself, without worrying about how others perceive you. Think of how often we feel compelled to explain ourselves, even when it's unnecessary. Have you ever made a choice simply because you felt you had to justify it to someone else? Or perhaps you stayed in a situation longer than you should have, because you didn't want to explain why you wanted to leave. This kind of thinking is rooted in the belief that others' opinions are more important than your own sense of peace. However, this is not the path to fulfillment. You don't need permission to live your life. Whether it's the decision to change careers, to leave a relationship, or to take a different path than what others expect of you, it is your choice. You are the only one who lives with the consequences of your actions, and therefore, you are the only one who truly understands the reasons behind your choices. This does not mean you should live in isolation or reject all feedback from others. Instead, it means that you should no longer feel obligated to explain yourself in ways that feel uncomfortable or unnecessary. Your life is your own, and you have the power to make decisions that align with your values, needs, and dreams. Living this way allows you to preserve your energy. Constantly explaining yourself, defending your actions, or seeking validation can drain your mental and emotional resources. This is especially true when the explanations you offer are met with judgment or misunderstanding. It takes emotional strength to walk your path without seeking approval from others, but it's a strength that, when cultivated, allows you to live fully in alignment with your true self. Buddhism encourages us to practice detachment from the opinions of others. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but it means finding inner peace that is not reliant on external validation. When you stop explaining yourself to others, you reclaim your personal power and emotional sovereignty. You allow your actions to speak for themselves and trust that the right people will understand your intentions without needing an explanation. The practice of not explaining yourself is also an act of self-respect. When you trust your decisions, you show respect for your own wisdom and intuition. You stop giving away your power to others' judgments, and instead start honoring your own path, your own wisdom, and your own truth. This is the ultimate act of self-love and self-care. You recognize that you don't owe anyone the burden of explaining why you are choosing the path that feels right for you. You are the authority of your own life. When you make decisions that are aligned with your truth, you owe no one an explanation. Live authentically, honor your choices, and trust in the wisdom that guides you. The more you release the need for validation, the more empowered and free you will feel. Your life is yours to live. Stop asking for permission from others and begin living fully in your own truth. 7. Peace is found in privacy. In today's world, privacy has become rare and often overlooked. With constant pressure from social media, public opinions, and the growing need to stay connected, many of us have forgotten the deep value of privacy. But peace lives in privacy, and this idea holds great meaning in Buddhist teachings. In Buddhism, silence, solitude, and privacy are seen as powerful paths to inner peace. Stepping away from the noise of the outside world isn't viewed as isolation or escape, but as a chance to reconnect with who we really are. In modern life, we're often taught that we need to be seen, heard, and validated by others in order to feel worthy or successful. Yet real peace comes when we take a step back, find quiet, and give ourselves space to simply exist. When you allow yourself the gift of solitude, you create a setting where you can focus on your thoughts, your emotions, and your true needs. Without outside noise or the weight of other people's expectations, you can find clarity and insight that's often hidden by the world's constant input. Privacy offers you a sacred space to reflect, rethink your direction, and reconnect with your purpose. It's in this quiet that you can truly hear your inner voice, free from distractions, free from judgment, and free from the demands of society. In the chaos of daily life, we often lose touch with who we truly are. We get swept up in others' expectations, opinions, and demands, and we forget to check in with ourselves. The truth is, if we don't take time to retreat into quiet and privacy, we risk drifting away from our true self and living a life shaped more by outside approval than inner peace. The beauty of privacy is that it gives us the chance to disconnect from the world's noise. It's in these quiet moments of retreat that we can reset our mind, body, and spirit. In Buddhism, this is known as cultivating mindfulness, the practice of being fully present without judgment or distraction. When we create space for privacy in our lives, we give mindfulness a chance to grow. We start to value life's simplicity, the calm of being alone, and the depth of silence. But privacy isn't just about physical space, it's also about emotional and mental space. In Buddhism, guarding your thoughts is just as important as protecting your surroundings. The constant stream of information, opinions, and emotions from others can crowd our minds, leading to stress and confusion. By protecting your mental and emotional space, you help your mind stay clear, centered, and at peace. You don't need to share every part of your thoughts, struggles, or dreams with everyone you meet. In fact, many of the most meaningful insights and moments of growth happen in quiet, private moments, away from the eyes and ears of the world. In today's culture, there's often pressure to overshare, to be completely open, or to stay constantly connected with others. But living this way can take away from our inner peace as we start looking for approval from others instead of trusting our own inner wisdom. Privacy, then, isn't about hiding or avoiding. It's about creating space for self-discovery and personal growth. It's about learning to feel at ease in your own presence and knowing that your worth doesn't depend on constant approval or attention from others. Buddhism teaches that real peace comes from within, and to connect with that peace, we must give ourselves the freedom to be alone. Those quiet times, moments when we're simply with our own thoughts, are where true self-awareness begins. It's in this private space that we can discover clarity, strength, and a deeper understanding of who we are. Privacy is a form of self-respect and energy protection. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts, your energy, or your personal life. By keeping some parts of yourself private, you protect your emotional and mental well-being. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means being thoughtful about who and what you let into your inner space. The people and situations around you should align with your values and your path. Sometimes, stepping back into privacy is the best way to reflect on whether they truly do. Privacy isn't about hiding from the world, it's about making space for growth, self-reflection, and peace. When you give yourself moments of privacy, you nourish your inner world and lay the groundwork for mindfulness and self-awareness. In these quiet times, you reconnect with your true self and gain the clarity needed to live a more peaceful and authentic life. Embrace the strength found in privacy and silence, and see how it can guide you to a more balanced, fulfilling way of living. These 7 lessons aren't just ideas. They're practical tools to help you live with peace, growth, and inner strength. Focus on yourself, welcome silence, and protect your energy. Always remember, real power doesn't come from outside validation or comparing yourself to others. It comes from mastering your mind and staying committed to your own journey. Thank you for being here. If this message spoke to you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more lessons on purposeful and powerful living. Stay silent, stay focused, stay strong,